Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. I'm Cora and today we're doing a makeover on my closet. So this is what it looked like before when we first moved in, and these were the only photos that I got there of my kids playing a game in the closet. It's the cutest thing ever, but as you can see, it's very cluttered, cramped together, and there's absolutely no design. And then I turned it into this. I went shopping and I got a couple of things, so I'm going to break that down for you so that way you can see what I did in the first makeover. Now I picked these up when they were on sale for $20, so I picked 2 of those up. I've also bought these separately at KMART when they were on clearance for $20, so I picked up 4 of those. I bought some of these little brackets at the time, and I remember they were cheaper than that. And then I also picked up some rods at Ikea as well. So that way you can kind of get a gist of how I came about this. The mirrors that are hanging there I picked up at Kohl's. One was for like $7 and the other one was on clearance for like $1.30. So I got them both for like under 10 bucks or something like that. And that was years ago. And so then I kind of did this little makeover. I have some little cube shelves up at the top too. Those little 3 cube shelves that came from like Family Dollar or Dollar General or something like that, and they were like 10 bucks for each set. So that's just to give you like a little understanding of how I came about to get this former design that I had going on, and this is what I'm currently working with that I'm actually trying to change and make more useful in this little bit of a space. I mean, there's a little bit of changes that have been made since then because it wasn't as practical, or I wanted to use like these little cube shelves. I used those somewhere else in the house because I just wasn't liking using up all of that space for only my shoes, if that makes sense. I felt like I could have used it more for clothes. And so I wanted to change up the design a little bit. Also, you can see that there's still carpet in there, so we did some flooring. I picked that up at our local Floor and Decor here when it was under $1 per square foot. And I mean, this is just to give you an average of what it costs to do something about the size of my closet. We ended up purchasing enough for the whole house at the time, so that gives you an idea of that. So that cost I kind of will be putting into like a full house flooring kind of video. It won't be incorporated into just a closet space, but just to give you an idea. So I went ahead and I did the flooring myself. I pulled up the baseboards. I picked up the underlayment at Amazon because it was way cheaper to do it that way. And then I watched a couple of videos, and I knew I wanted to do seamless flooring throughout my entire house. So it took me a while to get around to doing my closet as I was working my way through my master bedroom and everything. But once that was done and I got my trim painted, because I was again doing it for the whole house, so it took a little bit, I ended up putting some stuff back. I purged my closet once already, and then somehow I guess I accumulated more stuff. So this is where it's kind of at before we get started. As you can see here, the closet's been painted like a lavender type color. It's very light in person, but on camera it looks very bold. But it's nice and subtle. And then I have this black hanging mirror thing there that I had put because I wanted a full-length mirror in there, I thought at the time. But I'll be honest, I really never used that mirror, so that's going to come out towards the end. And I think I'm going to put my white ones back in there. Those white ones got moved to my entryway during my entryway makeover, but I think I'm going to do some switching around and rearranging so I can put those back in here, and I'll redo something over there. The reason I'm doing this is because, as you can see, there is the rod has fallen from the wall. Either I missed the stud or something when I was doing it, or there was just too much weight on it. So we need to do some reconfiguring and take some of the weight from all of his work uniforms, because I mean, I have more clothes than him on my side, but I've had no issues, but his clothes are so much heavier. So time to get started on purging, getting a lot of these clothes out and redesigning and reconfiguring the stuff that we already have. And then I'm going to take a little budget and put towards this little bit of a renovation. Just a little bit, just a little. Now, one major note that I want to make in this renovation is that I will not be investing in hangers. I know that having universal hangers can just really transform a space like this, but you guys, do you know how expensive hangers are? I cannot justify that. I just can't at this moment. I cannot spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars on getting uniform hangers for this many clothes. Until I figure out how to purge enough clothes to where I can minimize it to get it down to a reasonable amount, then I will invest. This bench is a bench that I made, which I can link that for you guys, and then I ended up painting the legs white, and I think it looks really pretty. It kind of matches really nicely, and then yeah, it just kind of becomes a catch-all usually most of the time. So I don't know if I'm going to leave it in here, or maybe incorporated somehow, but with like a little tray and a flower or something, so that way it prevents me from putting stuff on it. I'm not sure. We'll figure that out as we go. Let's get started, shall we? This piece here, I love, 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 love. It's a jumper, but the sleeves are kind of tight right here, so I was thinking about taking them off and making it a sleeveless jumper. If that's a video you guys would like to see, let me know down below, because I think that's something I would like to do. This is one of my favorite blazers ever right here. Beautiful. Show that. Alright. This is all mine, and this is all mine. This is just my husband's. So I'm just gonna get all that out, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and finish removing this stuff off camera because you get the point. So as of right now, what I've done is I've taken out all of the clothes and I've put both of the dressers, they're side by side, or I guess they were, and then I want to get these cubicle little things down up at the top because, to be fair, they're serving me absolutely no purpose. I cannot reach them, and so they're just there for looks, I guess, you know, or hiding Christmas presents, as you can see in those bags up at the top. So I'm going to go ahead and remove those. I know I'm going to have a lot of patch painting and stuff to do, and I'm gonna have to fill a lot of holes and yada yada yada, so I'm gonna have to find all my leftover paint. I need to get this down without breaking a mirror, you know, goals. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do all of that, get that down, and I need to just kind of play around with the design. So I'll probably move some furniture around, get a look for it, talk to my husband, find out if he likes the way it's configured or little designs and stuff, because it does matter if he can get to his things easily too, you know what I mean? I don't want things to be harder and inconvenience to get to. I may be small, but he's really tall, so it's kind of like working a balance between the two of us. So at this point, I've tested out a few different like variations of rearranging this furniture that I have in here. So I'm gonna give this one a test. I've put some of my husband's clothes in there just so he can kind of get an idea for it, and I'm gonna ask his opinion, and then we'll go from there. Because at this point, if it's not working out for like function, then it is what it is. I do want to put some shelves in on that side and possibly on here so that I can kind of stack the clothes and make it look like a department store, you know, using these kind of racks and rods type system. So we'll see how that goes. To be continued. Alright, so I put these two racks here, and now I'm just like securing those to make sure that they're going to be straight there, or like, you know, level. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this side, make sure that's level, and then I'm going to use these two things. Put that up there to make sure it's level there. So now I can go ahead and secure these in. Now this one here, I have to pre-drill holes and put in these clasps that I bought this kit that came with it, which I'll show you in more detail. But essentially, it's these little butterfly type things. They go into the wall, and then once they go behind there, they flap open like that, so they hold nice and secure. So those are going in all along this side, and then this one is going directly into a stud. So while I'm installing these like rod little things that these racks are going to go on, I'm also going to reinstall the rod that had collapsed before that had the shelf on it, and I'm going to use these stronger butterfly little clip things that go behind the drywall, and then the new rods are going into studs. Most of them will, and then the other ones will use those butterfly things. You saw already me installing the one side and how that works. You pre-drill a hole, you pop it in there, and you use the little black little popper to pop it through, and then you can put your rod up and drill your screw in. And so that worked out great. I have my shelves on here now so I can get an idea of where they need to be cut off, get those measured so that later tonight when my husband gets home he can cut those off. I do want it to be able to be flush with the shelf that already pre-exists, so if I want to move those up and down it won't interfere. And then for the top shelf that had priorly collapsed, I will use my lightweight bags for like when we have our overnight bags for traveling and stuff, and that'll go up there. I am going to be putting these shelves on here basically so I can put all of his pants and get that organized, kind of like a department store, and then I'll have more side over here to do his clothes and such. And then I might put shelving on my side there, or I might rearrange it something else. So it's time to get his opinion on the matter and see what he thinks so far. We're going to get this all cut too so he can get an idea. Straight into there. Okay.
Wow.
That actually worked better than I thought.
That was almost perfect.
Perfect. Yeah.
Almost.
And then it goes up toward. That one doesn't reach all the way, unfortunately. That's fine for now. Here. It's well, it doesn't. It comes out and goes over a little more.
Why is that one so short? Is that how it's supposed to be?
Yeah, I want them to end there. It's okay if it's not perfect. I'll have your clothes, like your pants, folded nicely on the shelves and along with your shoes, and it'll look like a little department store in here.
Okay, what about all the shirts? Where are they going?
Hanging, like there. Maybe.
I have a lot more shirts.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna be putting all the ones you wear regularly will go up here, and the ones you don't wear regularly will go down here. Like all your winter stuff that you never wear.
I don't like that.
You don't like it back in there?
No.
So as you just heard, my husband was like a little concerned with having his clothes tucked back in behind a shelf, and I get that because the sleeves, when I opened a couple of the drawers, were getting caught. So what I did is I popped them back down, which I needed to move the mirror out anyway, so I was going to have to put them back down. He said he really liked that this was much more open feeling than when we walked in. We weren't like bombarded with a bunch of stuff in our face right at the end of it, and that's all you see, that it looked more open, more in this type of a design, and I happen to agree with him. So I popped it back down. I put all of my shoes up on the top shelf, and I've got some of our clothes and all of that in here, but I do want to put some more racks for my shoes over by where the mirror is, and then I want to change out the mirror and put my other white ones in there. Now got his shelves up there, and it looks really good, and his side looks nice and clean, so I've got to get my side much more organized. So I'm kind of playing around with the cube shelves, seeing how I want those to go and how those are going to end up. I've popped the mirrors back up, and there's just a lot more work to go. Okay, so this is the current state of the closet. You know, it's got like the rails there. I've got some mirrors. His shelves are all organized and good to go. And then I used the stud finder to find the studs there for these rails, which I'm going to be putting more shelves. And he used a saw to cut off the ends so that it will fit perfectly under there. Now time to find the studs with the stud finder and pre-drill a couple of holes and get those enforced. Now on this particular one, that system that I was installing, it's the same exact as the one that I just did on my husband's side where I hung his shelves and we cut those down, except on this one I used the stud finder and I am going directly into both studs. I'm going to be using this as a shoe shelf type thing, or maybe the top I might put a little bit of jewelry or watches or whatever, just some display stuff, just to keep it nice and clean. I don't want this to be a cluttered area. I don't want it to become a catch-all like it used to. I want it to be functional but also look nice, if that makes sense. So that is what's going on here. I used the stud finder. My little level is magnetic, so I stuck it to the rod and I drew a straight line, and then I put little dots to where the holes were for the screws to go in, and I'm pre-drilling those holes. Well, kind of. It was hard to kind of pre-drill holes into wood, but I just wanted to make sure that I was kind of helping myself get those screws in because they were really, really, really hard to get in. So once I got those set and got all of that level, I asked for some assistance for my husband to come in just to make sure that the top was going to be level before we got started, and I really screwed these all the way in and they were permanent. And then my son stepped in to help as well. He gets really fascinated when it comes to measuring and building and all of the sort. So here's another DIY for the son in the books on this particular closet project, and he was pretty stoked and excited to help with this one. So I hope you guys enjoy a couple of those little clips, but we are nearing the end. I just have some clothes organization to do.
Need it?
I need a tape measure. It's a little different.
Oh. I'll hold it for you. Let's see.
Oh, do you want to come do this? Okay. Come here. Come here. You just push a button and it goes.
I said net.
Look.
Look at all those.
Look. Just push this button and push it in. You just push the button over here. Right there. Oh, it's okay. It's okay. Push. Yes.
What about that other one?
Do you want to do the last one down here? That's good. Good job, buddy.
I got the other roller.
That's a tape measure.
You did it.
Measure.
Good job, Bobs. Thanks for your help. Okay. So we gotta see how long this is. Tell me how long it is. What number is it at down there? Look at down there. What is this? It has a number. 47. What comes after 47? 47, 48. So we need just a 24 right here. And it's just under 4 feet. And so we want 1/8 less. I gotta find my T-square. I don't know where that's at. So I'm gonna have to make a... Or you could use the straight saw, right? It'll give you the line if I give you the dot. Can you cut this in half for me? This little...
I'm watching you, Mom.
You're a director.
Oh, okay. Can you and Daddy go cut this for me? I need it to be cut right in half. Oopsie. think? Does it look good? Did we do a good job? I'm gonna go test it by seeing it. Go see if the bubble goes in the middle right there. Go put it on the shelf and tell me if the bubble goes right in the middle of those two lines.
Where?
Just stick it on the shelf anywhere. Alright guys, I just want to remind you what it looked like before. It was just a small walk-in closet with double shelves on both sides. It was those rack shelving. And then I invested the first time and turned it into a much more aesthetically pleasing looking space. But then we redid the flooring and I wanted to redo it once again. And this is where we are. It's much more functional. I've got lots of the shelves for my husband's clothes. I've got the shelving for my clothes, my drawers, little decorative baskets that we can keep like hats and belts and things in or accessories in. We've got all of our pants that are on display so we can see what we have when we're putting out outfits together, minus things like pajama outfits and such like that, which are in the drawers, along with our underwear and my bras and bathing suits and whatever like that. I've got all of my workout gear, my jeans, and even my wig is up here. Some of my bags are on display. My hat is hanging from the top rack, which is also why I left my husband's rack going all the way across on his side, which you'll see in a moment, because I wanted him to have a space to hang hats or belts or scarves or whatever he wanted to hang up there, just to have the accessibility to rearrange or take a shelf down or put whatever he wanted. I got my shoes all down there nice and organized. The ones that I use more often are down within my reach, and then all of my heels are up along the top there because my husband can just reach those and grab those down for me if we're going out or something. I put those mirrors back because I absolutely love them there. I think it looks way better like this. I added a little bit of decorative stuff on the top just for now. We've got like my tall boots and such down on the side and tucked into the back. And then we've got a laundry basket over to the side. He keeps his like wedding bands and his rubber ones for work in this little black box on his dresser, and then his socks for work specifically are in these little tubs, his belts and one of his hats, and he's also hiding Christmas presents under there. Shh. And so we've got a lot more organization going on in here than before. He can see all of his shoes and his uniforms all nicely displayed. All of our belts are right there, and he still has room to add a lot more shelves or racks if he needs more space. Now, a lot of these shirts that we still have hanging here obviously need to be organized by like color, and the hangers need to be switched out. But again, you guys, hangers are a last priority come this project, you know what I mean, this go around. I will work on that later. Something I do want to do for myself personally is again purge a little bit more of my clothes out and then organize them by color so it just looks a lot better. But I figure I was so done and tired by this point, I just wanted to get this video up for you guys so you can get the idea. So I hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you on the next one.